we're going to have a little rami, a projection, and it allows for communication. So therefore, it's a communicating rami. Pre-fibers, we already said, fiber, is an axon, and they're myelinated, and they're going to make their way as they travel, okay? As they travel from the spinal nerve, because the spinal nerve gives me my route, okay? The part I keep trying to talk about, to the ganglion, and because it's myelinated, it's turned white, okay? Because the fatty tissue has a white appearance. The postganglionic fiber leaves the ganglion by way of the one that's gray, because they're unmyelinated fibers. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're just going to have these little projections. One's going to be turned white, one's going to be turned gray. Myelin, no myelin. Pre, post. And then we make it to our target organ. So, note back on the picture here on the front. We noted just a few minutes ago, we noted that some of these fibers will come out, synapse directly in the chain, some will pass, go to one of these three ganglion, synapse, some will travel down the chain, synapse, make their way, some will travel up the chain, synapse, and make their way. So, 1, 2, 3. Do you see how many pathways I might have? Does that make sense? The pathways. So, let's follow how they're trying to represent my pathway using the route given to me by the spinal nerve. Yes, no, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to just pick one of these greens, okay, because this is trying to represent to me my preganglionic neuron. So I'm going to take this very first one in here at the bottom, and I'm just going to follow it. So that's my prefiber, my prefiber, my prefiber. It has now taken the route of my spinal nerve. Is everybody following me on that one? But what it needs to do, get to the chain. Okay? So, on this particular route, I'm coming, making my way to my spinal nerve, did a real quick U-turn almost. This one is coming back around, and this time it's showing me that this one can travel up the chain, go somewhere, synapse, and make its way to a target organ. Bada bing, bada boom. Did everybody follow me on that one? Does that make sense? It was representing, remember how I pointed out, we have like 1, 2, 3, 4 fibers, and they will travel up the chain ganglia and out. So, these can go up my chain. They can go do stuff like to the eyes, to the salivary glands, to the lungs, to the heart, to the blood vessels, esophagus. Where do you see the ones that are going up, going to? Those areas, right? All right, so now I'm going to take the second one. I don't know where it's going to end up. I'm just going to take it. So I'm going to keep going, keep going, keep going. Exit through my route given to me by the spinal nerve. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Oops, got to make that turn. I'm making that turn, I'm making that turn, I'm making that turn. I'm synapsing right here in the chain. That post fiber exits by way of that spinal nerve, but it will make its way to areas of skeletal something. Does that make sense? Because sympathetic's got to do stuff to skeletal muscle, all right? Yep. Okay. I'm going to look up here now to the third one. I'm going to follow it, follow it, follow it. It's going by the route, going by the route, going by the route. It's making a U-turn. This time, didn't take a pit stop in the ganglia and the chain. It kept going, it kept going, it kept going, made its way to some of those collateral ganglia. They synapse and go to target organs, which we saw. The last one, boom, 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 move down, move down, move down. We saw one of the things that could happen is the green could go down and make its way to pelvic organs. Kind of cool.
So like towards the end of the thoracic area where there are no lines, so it can't move up and down where there aren't any lines. Is that correct?
Okay, towards the end of the thoracic,
Yeah.
am I looking at chain or am I looking at fibers?
So like you know how you're talking that it can go down.
Uh-huh.
Like, it'd be easier to show you. So what about like right here? So it stops. So we don't have this line.
Right, because
that matter?
these, well, if you know, these right here, these are going to converge
Yeah.
and make their way to these, and those are going to be targeting organs just in the abdominal region.
Okay.
Here, we're going to end up targeting organs in the pelvic region.
Okay. All right. Just
Okay.
making sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did y'all kind of keep up with me? If you note, can you help me go around and show people the
Yeah.
difference between the lines? Okay. He was showing how you got your straight line here
Yeah.
and here, but not right here. That's because when you get down here, it's letting you know that these nerves can go down or go into here and meet pelvic organs.
So like
To the side. Yes. So what he's doing, see how you've got the line here and here, but not right here? It's because it's letting us know this goes only to abdominal, but this can go to the pelvic. Okay?
I did. They said
Oh, you
they were
did?
okay.
Did y'all all see it? Did you see it? Oh, no, that one and that one. Down here, it's letting us know it can either go to this or goes here. These serve the pelvic region. So, we're going to solid line. Right here, we're only serving the abdominal region, but down here, you can go into this one, but it's still only goes to pelvic, or if you try to down, it goes to pelvic. Okay. Good job. Good job. So, sympathetic chain ganglia. Fun. Yes, no, maybe. Oh, yeah. Yes. Love it. All right. So, well, let's just look at this because we've already talked about it. We just determined that we can have stuff that goes right to the chain ganglia synapses, or we can have the fibers move up and go out, move down and go out. And the nerve route, the routes that are given, okay, we can have that spinal nerve route, which I keep mentioning, okay, that we need for it to travel, and the sympathetic nerve route, which means we did that huge U-turn, came back, and either went up and down the ganglia. Does that make sense? Because we just showed that on the picture. And now, the splanchnic nerve, one that I didn't kind of point out, but I think it is in one of the pictures. I can't remember which one. Hold on. Okay. if you look at this picture right here, if you notice on the low, like if it shows the fiber just passing through the ganglion and making its way to this collateral ganglion that's present, notice that they're labeling that little extension the splanchnic nerve. Does everybody see that one? Okay, so this is where some of those nerves, okay, will pass and go to that splanchnic nerve, even though they come from way up in the thoracic region. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be just from the lumbar region. So they call that little ganglia where they synapse the collateral ganglion. Going to basically the pelvic region. Still more? All right, we're not talking about any more of that, even though we discussed it. But, okay, so that's where we're going to stop for today. And, well, no, it still keeps going after that. Okay, for today, we're going to work on lab 18. And lab 18, one of the things that we have been talking a whole lot about is nerves, okay? And so lab 18, like the very first part of it, do you guys remember, I can't remember if it was this class or 141, I mentioned like how thick the nerves are and how tough they are. And so the first part of lab 18, it wants you to like have the live frogs, which we don't, okay, and then be able to like make it not live, okay, and then begin to skin it and play with its sciatic nerve and put it in solution and watch it do its thing after the frog is dead. Well, yeah, I see some of the looks on your faces and that sort of thing. So I figure the best part to do this lab is for us to just see it in video. And even though I understand that, but you know, think about this, guys. You're going to see stuff like this. But if you feel like you can't handle it, just feel free. You can walk out. I'm fine with that. So rather than looking at that first part of the lab and, you know, doing that to the frog, we're going to just watch it here on the video. And the sound. Hold up. That's right, because I remember I had to bring my, I don't know how much sound we're going to get. I didn't bring my speakers. I'm sorry. Oh, they're speaking a different language. Okay, that's all right. We'll just watch. They're killing the frog.